create a plan. And think about it. When you have anxiety, a plan in place is 50% of overcoming the anxiety. So if you're afraid of flying and you create a plan to get on the plane, even if it's taking a benzodiazepine to relax yourself before you get on the plane that's prescribed by your doctor, it's still a plan. And that's a plan that's going to start relieving some of the anxiety. So create a plan to face these biggest fear and anxieties in your life. Create a plan. And so the questions that people often have with fears, they're often centered around I'm unworthy, I'm unlovable, and I'm unhelpless. But then we can get very specific about those fears. So I had a client recently who is terrified of being embarrassed. And actually, I'm kind of terrified of being embarrassed. That's why I had so much terror about public speaking when I started. 20 years ago, I would literally lose a whole night of sleep before I had a speaking event. And I do this as a profession now and speak all the time, but it's something that has been a tremendous fear in my life. And I tie the roots to that to situation when I was in 5th grade and I was tremendously embarrassed by a nun at a school that I attended who just made my life miserable. And another social situation in 6th grade, which is just a year later, where I called a timeout in a fight and all the kids laughed at me for a long period of time. It was a fist fight behind the softball field. And anyway, I called a timeout, which you're not supposed to do. But these embarrassing situations psychologically can be so deep that they can create these negative mindsets that we have to find a way to overcome and face. And part of facing that plan is creating a new mindset. And so think about it. If you're afraid, I had a client, she was afraid to go to a school play for her daughter because she's been in social situations before where she was embarrassed. And so I challenged her to come up with a new thought. Like, I'm afraid I'm going to be embarrassed and my life's going to fall apart. So what's a new thought? Well, if I go, I will grow. She came up with that on her own. And another one was, if I'm embarrassed, embarrassment won't kill me. She came up with that on her own. So I can think, and you can think of situations that you're going to think will potentially create these thoughts of I'm unworthy, I'm helpless, I'm unlovable. Like I can't do anything about the situation, but challenge it with a new thought. So you're creating a plan to face your biggest fears. So